Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. I know it's been a minute or two. Things always happen. Real life, work, move. Anyway, I moved back to Atlanta, so I'm back home, settling in, new job, new everything. So I'm a little late on the episodes. Please forgive me. But you know what? We're here. And we're just I'm starting when the going's just beginning to get good. So we missed, episode 1, episode 2. I'm going to be chatting about episode 3. But first of all, housekeeping rules. Please don't forget to like the video. I always say, more importantly, don't forget to drop me a line. Tell me what you think, what your feelings are, what your emotions are, how you feel. That whatever you feel, drop it in the below, and I'll kind of go through it. And last but not least, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. So what are we doing now? This is season 6 or season 7. We lost count because they lost one out of this, but this is episode 3. The name of this episode is called Opposites Don't Always Attract. But before we jump into episode 3, I just want to recap in 5 minutes, when you say 5 sentences or less, episode 1 and 2. What I want to say, episode 1 and 2, at the end of episode 2, when they wanted to let, the question was, are we going to let Charisse or Dominica go? My question right now is, why didn't they cut them then? Because first of all, one guy's already dropped. Calvin's already gone, had an emergency, he had to leave. So we're already down one man. Now you don't cut a woman, so we're now, down one man. You cut Devin. Devin was not a mistake. Devin was it was a great choice. He just didn't fit. He didn't fit the format. Very good looking, easy on the eyes, but I don't know if he didn't carry over, and I think maybe he didn't appear or come across mature enough to dabble with the ladies. So Devin, it was nice that he went, but now we're down 2 guys, and we still have the 2 women completely. And so what made it? I think what I didn't like about that was when they had the brunch. It appeared. Particularly, I don't know who was saying this. I want to say it was Shakira who was saying this, that it felt like the ladies were being aggressive. I don't like the turn of tables. I don't like the turn of events. I still believe, shoot me, please don't, that a woman shouldn't do the chasing. I'm not saying a man has to be, chasing around like a dog, but at the same time, I don't think it's our responsibility to be hounding, take notice. That's what I didn't like. So now they created an extra space. They have more women than men, and that once that dynamic is there, there's a tendency sometimes for there to be a little aggression, and they continue to perpetuate that, the thing about the ratio of, I don't know, is a 5 to whatever they want to say, they say. But I'm one who believes that what's for you is for you. I don't want you people walking out there thinking well, it's not enough. So no. Doesn't mean that. And we're probably going to go into this later, but that's why I don't like that dynamic that they tend to create at times, because they still end up sending who they wanted to send home. Personally, that's what I think. Most of the guys felt the same way they did the day before that they did the next day. So I feel like Dominica was probably one they were going to vote off first, but they just gave her an extra day to torture her when she could have just been relaxing that night. She could have stayed. Anyway, I digress. So that's how I felt about, those first 2 episodes. So we open into the gentleman's lounge, and, they start talking. I want to say it was Samson and somebody else. It was Samson. I think it was Alonzo, who we're going to be calling Zoe. I'm going to go back and forth. I'll see how it flows. I think Zoe might. So anyway, Alonzo and Samson, although he don't have the hair, Samson were talking about, the lounge, they're talking, making it sound like it's so tough to find a good woman, below the neck, it's a dime a dozen, but when it's from the neck above, to find a solid. I'm not going to say yay or nay or even poo-poo what they were saying, but it's but I just in my opinion, but really, it really is that hard to find someone? But really, are they just saying that to appear, appealing? Because I think now, this is season 6 or season 7. I'm sticking with my guns. It's this season 7. By this point, they're aware that it's not just for them finding a partner on the show, but what can they carry on after the show? They want to appeal to the people watching, not just to the ladies that they're trying to attract, but to the viewers. They want to be attracted to the viewers to see what can kick off after the show. I think we're all clear right now that that's what it is, but we still jump into this because there are lessons to be learned when we watch this artificial created environment for dating. But the truth is, What they're really trying to do is appeal to the viewers, you, us, me, you. So, they say what they think we want to hear. That, they're looking for a woman. Okay, I'm not gonna be like, sour Nancy, but it's left to be seen. I don't know this gentleman yet, but it's left to be seen. But I'm of the notion that they're just saying what they think they should say to appear, deep. Like let river runs deep. Let's see how this goes. If these guys really are who they say they are. We know Samson was he like a coach? Like, I have two minds about that. I don't know how I feel about coaches, because some really know what they're doing, others it's a business. And then the other guy, Zoe's, I don't know, retired from something. I think he said medical sales. So let's see how this goes. But I digress. So the point of this episode, when he tells them, because, beginning of the week, he's telling the guys what their job is. So beginning of the week, he's telling them that what they need to do is date people they otherwise wouldn't date. Do the opposite of what they would do, hence the title. Opposites don't always attract. Let's see how that goes. But anyway, first date, real brief. Nothing really stood out here. But the reason why I mention it is because of this. So, LJ, one of the dudes, the Caribbean, I can't imitate the sing-song voice, so I'm not even going to try. LJ meets up with Looney. Looney is the one with the long braid, who'd been out for a week because of COVID, asymptomatic COVID. We know what that's like. But you see, my question here is like, y'all told her to isolate for a week, but she had been with them just the day before. So essentially, everybody's been exposed. I'm just saying, like, y'all can tell me what you think, but I'm just saying, like, she already exposed all of them. But okay, we still have to follow the rules. So y'all in the comments won't shoot them or tell them that they've got, unsafe filming conditions, or maybe they decide to test everyone afterwards. I don't know, but it just seemed like, okay, she was with y'all on the first day. They said she tested positive, so they separate her, but everybody else is still mixing and mingling. Y'all just transferring the virus. Okay, but just let me be. So anyway, point here is, LJ meets up with Looney. And what I liked here was, what I want to make note of here is that LJ had been quite intentional. To him, he had seen someone he found interesting, someone he liked, someone he's attracted to, and immediately got her phone number. So while she was gone, he was constantly keeping in contact with her. Those things mattered to us. Those things, like, you can have, okay, I'm not going to exaggerate, but I'm going to say what I feel. Like, you can have $1 million, you can be good looking, but if there's somebody on the other end who you like and is actually giving you the attention, putting in the time, chances you'll be swayed to the person who's giving you time. Like, yeah, that's it. So yeah, he put in the work. And I think I spin this off to say that, and I think we all hear this, if he's not acting like he's interested, then he's not interested. This is just an aside. Like, if you meet someone and they don't get your phone number, and you're thinking like, how am I going to reach them? They didn't get my phone number. Sis, I'm guilty of that too. Sis, he ain't that interested, because if he was, he would have gotten your number. I'm just saying. Like, is it like, 100% true? No. But a good 85. If you guys sit down, talk, and he's in a situation or in a position to have got your number but didn't, don't kick yourself. I mean, nowadays people chasing, but I'm just telling you from my perspective, if he didn't get your number, that means he didn't want to speak to you after the event. Homie got her number and made sure he put that time in for the week she was gone. That's all I'm saying. We have a second date. Shakira, young lady, I believe she's 36 or 37. I don't remember what she does, but she does have I believe she has a son who she calls Prince, having a date with Zoe, who is the retired gentleman. Whoever, I don't know, I keep saying I don't know where he's retired from, but anyway, he's retired. And to break down Shakira, I haven't seen so much of her, but she's 36, 37, so that's not a child. But she has a really young energy and a youthful look. But behind all of that, behind those eyes, you can see she's been through something. She has been through a little bit. And I think, you see that when they did the deliberation, I believe last week, and she kind of was breaking down as to what she feels her son has been exposed to, what he's seen. So I feel like she's a catch. Why do I say that? Because one, she's definitely attractive. Two, she acts like she has some sense. But don't quote me with some changes as the season goes along. But she acts like she has some sense. And I think, third of all, more importantly, when someone has been through something and they've learned, because sometimes you can go through something and learn no lessons. Now that's on you, because life is about going through lessons. You know, when you talk about the test becoming a testimony. So you're going to go through tests, and when you get through it, you should have taken some lessons. You didn't just go through that test and the pain for nothing. That makes no sense. So she's been through something, and it looks like she's taken some lessons from that experience. So she's walking with that knowledge and that power. So I think sometimes that, you know, that's why when you compare someone who's older, when they've been through something, they bring something to the table. This proposed table. So she's bringing something to the table. She's not just youthful looking and nice looking. She's got something behind those eyes, and I think that can bring something to a relationship. They're mingling, they're talking, and you can tell she's intentional. She likes Zoe. She's like talking about, well, you didn't really. I think she was saying something about how he didn't get her number initially. So it looks like this season, right? The dates are being set, but neither party knows who they're going to meet. That's what it looks like, because everyone's saying in their confessionals that, oh, it was this person, like they didn't know. So now, because we knew before the dates were set by production anyway, if they felt like, you know, a certain couple would come together, they set the dates. But I think beforehand people would know. But this season, it doesn't look like, I guess that's another twist and turn. The couples, either party doesn't know who they're meeting when they come to the date. That's what it looked like, particularly the one-on-one. Shakira's telling Zoe that, oh, you know what, you didn't get my number the last time. What that means, you didn't like me. And I like Zoe's answer. Zoe's answer is like, I didn't just want to get your number. I wanted to see if we had a connection, if we vibed. Then if we didn't have time to do that, then if that happened, then of course I definitely would have gotten your number. And that makes sense. Like, you don't just have to, you know, get the digits and then decide who you like. You probably want to kind of test the waters. And sometimes, you know, maybe he didn't, but now he's finding her interesting. Who knows? Maybe he really wasn't into her, because men typically do what they want to do. So anyway, he's like, yeah, I'm going to get your number, and And it's a cute little conversation. She was really flirty, because I think she has a gentle, young exterior, but there's a toughness beneath that. She's tough, and I don't think she's one who will accept nonsense. But she said she was melting, and she did look like she was melting. She looked like she was really into him. Zoe, I couldn't really read him that well to see if he's really feeling her as much as she's feeling him, but that's left to be determined. But we can tell that Shakira's into Zoe. Alonzo, I'm going to call him Zoe, apparently. We're going to call him Zoe, but his name is Alonzo. All right, next date. Samson, the coach, who also had this phrase that he go for brains over Botox. I'm going to stick that with him, because I like that, brains over Botox. And this is key right here, because now he's made a date with Charisse. And at first I was like, Charisse? But then I got it, and he also said that he otherwise wouldn't ordinarily pursue Charisse based on their first meeting, which didn't really work. Maybe she was preoccupied. She didn't give him the attention he thought he desired. But anyway, he gave her a second chance, and they got on. Yeah, I'm not going to throw Charisse under the bus yet, but I'm just not excited by what I'm seeing. She's not a child, and seems a little too judgmental for someone who's that age, who's been through a little something. I feel like once you've been through something, our life lessons humble you. And when you've been humbled by life lessons, you'll be a little less judgmental. Now, if you're a little older and you've been through life and you're still judgmental, I would say, in my humble opinion, you haven't taken any lessons from those experiences. And so I don't know what Charisse's story is here, but she seems very, there's nothing wrong with being tough and firm and but she's quite judgmental. I remember how she was talking about Dominica, an episode back, just the way she is. I'm not sure. I'm still giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I just feel like someone her age should just hold off. Particularly in an environment like this, hold off. Or maybe she's trying to do this to stand up anyway. So Samson and Charisse get together, and surprisingly, they hit it off. And so now I'm looking at Samson. I was like, dude, I thought you were the dude, yo. I thought you would how'd that happen? But let's see. It's the early days yet, so anything can happen. All right, next date, trapeze dates. There are a bunch of them. Of note, I think once they did whatever they do, and then everybody started kind of breaking off into couples. First couple to break off was Mike and Kayla. They seem to be vibing. Mike is into Kayla. Then all of a sudden, April, who is the lady who is a professional singer who's 46, she finds herself alone. So she figures she's going to jump in on one of the couples to be a third wheel. Never a good idea. She probably would have been better off just sitting by herself. Anyway, she decides that she's going to break off and go join the couple. And of all couples for her to join, she decides to join Mike and Kayla. And she did say in her confessional that she felt like Mike didn't like her. I'm just saying, in real life, like, If I feel like someone don't like me, would I now go jump on him and cuddle up? I don't know. I know it's a dating show, so you're meant to do the opposite of what you ordinarily would do. So here goes. As we saw, April's move didn't work for her, but you know what I think? In this artificial situation, I think right now, season 7, season 8, wherever the season is, people are beginning to understand that even if they don't go the distance, they try to create an impression. And so maybe she was just trying to create an impression. Maybe she really did just want to find out if Mike, maybe she misunderstood him and it's a dating show. The whole premise is, do you like me or don't you like me? I don't know. But from the jump, if you thought that, but you still went in there, cuddle up, I don't know. I just felt some kind of way about it. But at least she got her answer because it didn't work out. It didn't work for her. Like, it didn't. They were acting like, you know, this old battling couple at the end of it. Now, after that, somehow Mike and Charisse get to sit down and talk. So, and Charisse has said this, and she decides, because she big and bad and she tough and she keeps it real. She said to Mike, you know, in terms of that, you know, I think Mike had said something about, yeah, you know, she liked him or she felt some kind of way. He felt some, right. Mike definitely felt some negative energy from her. Or not to, or maybe he didn't just get the energy he usually gets, because I guess he's used to people like fawning over him because they call him Big Mike, so he's chocolate and got a good build. I suppose he's tall, so the reaction he usually gets from females, he didn't get. Oh, y'all don't shoot me. The reaction he usually gets from women, he didn't get that from Charisse. So I think that's what he was reading, not that she was any kind of way with him. And then she decided to keep it real and told him that she saw his divorce and 3 kids as baggage. My boy was triggered. I don't know, like he just like it's yeah. It didn't go well. And so I don't know if it was in her confessional she said this, that she, for her, as a 43-year-old woman, she wants to get with someone who's never been married and not had children. Let's talk about this. Is that an impossible request? It's not impossible. But as a human, is that a realistic request? You can want that, but I don't think you should now cross everyone off the list, particularly when you're a certain age. I want to say, in my humble opinion, y'all can tell me what you think in the comments, but I want to say, if you're above the age of 40, I think you should not be discouraged by someone who might have been in another come out of a marriage or has children. Now, if you're in your 20s, then by all means, you can stand 10 toes down and say, I don't want to be with someone who's been married or has a kid. That's fair. But I think when you're 40 and above, you might want to open up your pool a little bit, because you really narrow it down. Like I said, it's not impossible, but don't narrow your pool by saying, I don't want to be with anyone who's never been married. I don't want to be with someone. I don't want to be with anyone who's been married. I don't want to be with anyone who has kids. That really narrows down your pool, particularly today. That's just my humble opinion. I just think there's like, it's a good thing to want, but I don't think you should be closed off. Like if you meet that great person, y'all don't throw Dante as an example here, okay? Don't want to hear about it. That's another story. But realistically, you don't want to close yourself off by making such a narrow list, because really you could miss something that could be yours. I'm just saying. So that's why, so I'm not coming down on her for wanting that, but I'm saying that I think, and you know, people say, when we say be realistic, we're telling them not to choose what they want. I'm not saying don't get what you want. I'm saying don't narrow your choices, because you could miss something good by just having these rules, particularly if you're a certain age. It's just my 2 cents. So now we're going to another group date. I'm going to start talking about now this group date. I believe Mike had organized it, because he said they've been told, you know, nephew, Uncle Tommy told them to be creative. So he decided to set this up in this archery location. And so they all start, bow and arrow, you know, what's that dude? Peter Pan, Robin Hood, whatever they're doing, they're aiming. And so of course they start pairing off again. And so the first pairing, of course, is with Big Mike and Katie. If I'm not saying it right, y'all let me know, but I believe the young lady's name is Kadian, who's also another tough young lady, but you know, she knows what she likes. I think her number one interest, it was Zoe, because she was the one in the pink bikini that first day. So she into, you know, I know she's into Zoe, but I'm not sure how she feels about Mike. So anyway, they get sitting, they sit down, And bruh, like, he seemed to be entangled in something, because now there seems to be a pattern here. It better not be a third one, or then I'm going to say he's the problem. So he sat down, and first thing bruh say is he said something about she's uptight. Nothing good was going to come out of that comment. You're uptight, like nothing. Nothing. And it definitely went to hell in a basket from there. Yeah, end of story. Like, I don't know what, I feel a certain amount of emotional intelligence should dictate how you deliver a message. Like, if you don't like smoke all day, like, it doesn't mean that you don't have the energy for it, but don't waste your energy on things that don't mean anything. Like, I don't know what he wanted to achieve by telling the lady that she was uptight. Anyway, after that, you know, quickly, I don't know, I believe Brandy came, and then Sharice got up, and as soon as Brandy came, the whole energy changed. He scooped her up and gave her a big hug. I think that's another thing for me that I want to bring up here is, I'm not saying it's 100%, but if you see how the energy was different. So I say this to say that if a dude you're into is not affectionate with you, I don't think he that into you. I'm sorry. Like, it's not 100, but it's like his energy changed. You can definitely see that he was into Brandy. They get talking. She's asking what he's looking for. Good conversation. Typical question. They, you know, you're still talking to the representative, so they can say anything. They'll start saying stuff they think you want to hear. So that don't really tell you much, but you still have to go through the hoops, because you listen to what they don't say, not necessarily what they do say, or how they say what they're saying. Not necessarily what they're saying, but how they're saying it. Like everything else, because what they're saying, it's all like an interview. You know how you prep for an interview. You go study the company. You don't give a about the company you're studying, but you're trying to get a job because you want a paycheck. Same thing with the first thing with dating. Like nothing is real. It's all an illusion. So you have to like look around the illusion. How are they approaching things? How do they talk to a waitress? How do they, you know, if you're going to, you know, those little things that they might let slip, because they know that's what you need to be watching. Those questions, yeah, you can ask them, take those notes, but yeah, the real scoop is in around the questions. So anyway, she says, what you want? He starts answering. But I think one of the things that he came up was when he was his chance to talk, he was asking her that, you know, he thinks she's beautiful, she's funny. A question that, yeah, at this point, and I think I talked about this last season, like, yeah, right, why are you still single? That kind of stuff. But the thing is, why are you still single? Bruh, why are you still single? At this point, yeah, it's no longer like a question anymore, because everything's broken, y'all. Because I don't think, like how it was in the past, if you saw a woman who was really good looking and was single, you'd be like, yo, something wrong with her. That's not the case anymore. There are too many good women out there, both inside and outside, who are just single. It is what it is. I don't know. I'm not about to go into ratios with y'all, but it is what it is. The world is broken. Something wrong. Like the end of the world is coming. Like that's it. Like we're all about to pull a Niecy Nash on y'all. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, he asked the question, but not in such a rude way, but you know, but they had a good way of laughing over it, and she's like, no, I'm not crazy. Scene ends. So now it's the end of the week. They're back in the gentleman's lounge. Opens up with, you know, Samson saying, you know, and I like his perspective on this. He didn't really like, because you know, nephew Uncle Tommy always talks about now the power's in your hands, the ball's in your court, and Samson rightfully says, I don't really want that kind of power, because you know what, I would hate to make someone have that feeling of rejection, and it's a responsibility, and he hopes to make it. I like that perspective. If you're trying to be serious about it, it's true, it is important. So we launch into the elimination dates. And who are the two finalists to enter the elimination dates? April is one of the contestants, and the second contestant to enter an elimination date is Kadian. Anyway, the first date, LJ sits down with April. Long and short, let's not beat around the bush. April's a very attractive woman. She's 46, beautiful figure. But you know, one thing, and you can tell a lot about a person when they're receiving information or news that's not necessarily what they would desire or what they like. And so I gained a new respect. Like I had no beef with April from the beginning. I just felt like, you know, she just was left off in the trapeze date. But the way April received her elimination information, very classy, very gracious, very composed. Just like, hey, I'm good. Like, I'm about to leave this. She already, I don't know what she was thinking, but I thought it was very gracious, because on the other end where Kadian was, she wasn't even being eliminated, but she was already real aggressive, as you know, Swayze was telling her, what, the guys have decided, that you've been a little, that they feel like they're interrogated. At the same time, you're trumping on something like this. He's giving her like the information, not in a bad way, but she's not receptive towards it. So you can already tell the two right there, like, if you tell me choose one, at that point, although April didn't really have any connections, that's why April went home. But she was definitely she was a better contestant. So gracious, so classy. Like I definitely want to, I acknowledge her for that. That's one. There've been a few people who had like graceful exits. Hers should be one that's memorable because her smile didn't crack. You know how some people have cried during elimination, like because they don't pay that much to last. Some people have cried, some people have looked crushed, some people have been aggressive, but she was really gracious, kept her smile up, looked beautiful. It just went off into the sunset. I hope they acknowledge her during the reunion, because they tend to forget the people who've been eliminated early. They don't get to talk much during the reunions. But anyway, I just want to give my hats off to Miss April. That was such a graceful exit, sis. May you find your person. So Kadian stays for another day, but that little like, I mean, she did say at the end of it, when she realized she wasn't going home, that she was probably going to tame it down a little bit. But seriously, like that fighting spirit. There's nothing wrong with having a fighting spirit, but it's not that serious. I'm just saying, it's just not that serious. Let them say, but just the way you were like, yeah, they can do, I don't know. So anyway, Kadian lasts another day, and here we are. We are at the end of episode 3. Y'all guys, I just want to say it's good to be back. Let's see how this goes. We're going to leave last season where it was. I'm going to continue. So guys, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. And this is me, Lola, over and out. Thanks for watching.